Hello, my name is Lucy Chenault with Teens in the Driver's Seat Teen Advisory Board. Thank you for attending today's session. Here are some tips to help make this session a great experience. We are committed to saving lives and reducing crashes on our roads and request each participant to commit to connecting to our event from a safe location. Please do not connect while driving or operating any form of machinery. First, notice the panel to the right with several tabs. Here's where you can chat, ask questions, retrieve handouts, and see answered polls. The chat is public and you are encouraged to say hello and answer any prompts that appear there. The presenter invites questions. Type those into the Q&A window anytime and we will answer those at the end of the presentation. A prize drawing for a $50 gift card will be held at the end of the session. Make sure you stay on for that. Finally, at the end of the conclusion of the webinar, please complete a very quick survey for this session, which will help the presenter and us improve in the future. Enjoy the session.
Hi, my name is Samantha Keaton, and I'm a teacher at the Young Women's Leadership Academy in Fort Worth, Texas. I am the Teens in the Driver's Seat sponsor for our campus, and we encompass that inside our student council. And so we do a lot of things as a group. But I am here to talk about the virtual components that TDS has put out this year that has really just made it accessible for my students and our student council to do on campus. With that being said, I don't have anybody in the classroom. The large majority of my high school students are virtual this year. And so we've had to figure out how do we still promote being a safe driver and rider on our campus. We're a 6th through 12th grade campus, so we do promote not only being a safe driver, but talk to our middle schoolers about being a safe rider and what they should and should not allow for a driver to do and to help educate their parents and their older siblings. Now I want to talk about my why. Why do I do this? Because I think a why is really important. I ask my students when they do things to think about the why, because why is when it makes it meaningful. For me, Teens in the Driver's Seat is important because I don't want to go to a student funeral. And I don't want to go to a student funeral. When it comes down to it, if I have the opportunity to educate students about how to be safer when it comes to being on the road and being more educated and knowledgeable about the dangers that are around them and how they can avoid them, hopefully I can keep them from getting injured in a car crash or die in a car crash due to a stupid choice. And so that's my why. That's what drives me to move my students to do these things. And they get on my why. They understand it. They don't want to go to a funeral or see a friend in a hospital because of something that we could have educated them on and that possibly could have avoided. I remember when I was 19 going to a friend's funeral. He had died in a car crash. He had not been wearing his seatbelt and was thrown through the windshield, and he was DOA when the medics got there. And I remember going to his funeral and his parents pointing out at the funeral in front of a church full of young drivers and said, Jerry would be here if he had worn a seatbelt. And I just remember that being really impactful at 19. And that has stayed with me as I've gotten way older. It has stayed with me that it could have been really simple for Jerry to be with us still. So that's my why. And so now let's dig into what the TDS resources are online. When you go to the Teens in the Driver's Seat website and you go to Take Action, there's a tab for activity ideas. And this is where my student council and TDS crew has totally taken advantage of the Teens in the Driver's Seat resources that are there. Now, my personal favorite activity that we did this year was called M&M Madness. And M&M Madness was a real quick and simple activity to do. All I had to do was gather up something to count. And for me, I gathered up what they suggested, which were M&Ms. So I gathered a jar of M&Ms. Now, my jar's a little more empty than it should have been. It was actually full. I may have been snacking the last couple weeks on it. But I took the M&M jar and into my virtual class, I showed it to the camera and I was like, take a guess at how many M&Ms are in the jar. And so they made their first guess. And then we did breakout rooms where they went to a bigger room, and maybe they just had a partner in this room and they made a guess together. And then we went to another room and they made a guess, then another, and we did 5 rounds of this. And by the time they got to that 5th round, we were a whole group. So the entire class was guessing at how many M&Ms were in the magical jar that I was holding. And so after they made all their guesses, we then talked about, and I asked, who kept the same number from their first guess all the way to their last guess? And nobody did. And so we then talked about peer pressure, and something as simple as counting M&Ms in a jar seems really silly to look at peer pressure, but it kind of hit the idea right on the head with it's simple to fall into it without even realizing that you're falling into it. And so that we tied that back into driving choices and the pressure of having another peer in the car with you or being the rider in the car with another peer. It was a really good lesson that I think just really drove home that point of peer pressure and how simple it is to fall into it. Another one of our favorite activities that we have done from the Teens in the Driver's Seat website is called the Memory Challenge. And so this was where students had to write down words, and what I did is I picked a 6th grade spelling list for the spelling bee. And so I read the words, and they had so much time to write down the words. And I didn't give them a whole lot of space in between, so it was really about recall and what they remembered hearing me say and writing it down. And then we did again, and I chose a different set of words off the spelling list, and then we had a bunch of distractions in the background. So there were like, I pulled city noises, and I pulled someone like writing on paper, and so it's like the sound of a pencil on a paper, and I layered all these different sounds in the background, and I gave them that list again, and they struggled to write all the words down. I mean, it was focusing on distractions and how when you're in the car with the radio on and you're messing with your phone and you're trying to pull this up and you're trying to pull that up and you're having a conversation in the car, you're just not quite paying attention to what's around you outside the vehicle. And so it was a really good point of how easy we can get distracted, and those were all sounds we were used to, but when we're trying to focus on something, it was really hard with those outside distractors. Not only did our TDS crew participate in the activities that were listed, but we also participated in doing the social media pushes that are recommended from them. So go into the same place you found the other activities, you can find toolkits. And when you find these toolkits, open them up. They are full of yummy, fun stuff inside. And so when you get there, there's also a link that has social media stuff. And so it's got like images that you can push out. And so our Twitter feed became really important to us this year, being that so many of our students were virtual, that we pushed our Twitter piece and then we pushed out the information through Twitter. And so this was an easy way to send out themed weeks, like we did the railroad week, the pedestrian week, safety seatbelts, all these different pieces that TDS has made. You just have to organize to push them out. And so we have a PR person for Teens in the Driver's Seat who oversees the Stuco Twitter account, and so she uses that as our means to push out all this information, and it was just really simple, and we got points for it. Has it been easy being virtual this year? Yeah. At first we kind of struggled with how to do it, but Teens in the Driver's Seat website was so helpful with finding activities to do, and they were posting things throughout the year that just helped make it even more so, because we're not able to gather in any form of groups according to both our district, but also just COVID and a pandemic. So that has definitely made this year a little bit more challenging. But once we started thinking virtually and using those TDS resources more than we had in the past, it made earning points fairly simple. We just made out our plan for the month, said this is what we will push out on social media. These are the announcements we'll make on campus. These are the lessons that we'll do. These are the activities that we would like to see done. And it made it simple for planning this year. So even though the world seems to be falling apart around us and slightly getting better, this was an easy year when it came to Teens in the Driver's Seat by doing it virtually. Can't wait until we're in person though. We would love to take advantage of those other resources that they have.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sarayi Rocha and I am one of the TDS Teen Advisory Board members with the Teens in the Driver's Seat program. Our presenter today will be Ms. Mona Lisa Didelot from the Texas Department of Transportation. Mona Lisa Didelot has worked for the Texas Department of Transportation for 9 years in the Behavioral Traffic Safety Division. Currently, she is a traffic safety specialist for the San Angelo District. In addition, she is the program manager for the statewide Project Celebration program and administers state and federal transportation funding for law enforcement STEP grants and general grants. As a subject matter, she assists the behavioral traffic safety specialists along with community requests. Mona Lisa is also a child passenger safety instructor. Please help me welcome Miss Mona Lisa.
Hello, my name is Mona Lisa Didelot. I work for the Texas Department of Transportation in the Behavioral Traffic Safety Division as a traffic safety specialist for the San Angelo District. I'm also the program manager for the statewide Project Celebration program. Project Celebration is a combination of education and lock-in events conducted by educators, parents, and community partners to help keep students safe and alcohol-free throughout the school year, and especially during school-related celebrations. The goal here is to reduce that number of injuries and deaths caused by impaired driving. The Texas Department of Transportation can provide high schools with information, resources, and seed money funding to help high school officials and parents sponsor a Project Celebration activity and lock-in. TxDOT can also be a resource to schools not applying for funding too. So let's talk about how Project Celebration began. Project Celebration began as Project Graduation, originating in Maine during the early 1970s in a response to 12 teens who were tragically killed in an alcohol-related traffic crash. Several of those teens were from the same community, a group of parents determined not to let alcohol ruin any more lives, organized and hosted the original chemical-free and alternative to late-night partying that often accompanies senior celebrations. Most teens are aware of the consequences of drinking alcohol or taking other drugs, but nothing compares to the devastation of wrecked cars, injuries, and the deaths of their friends due to the driving under the influence of alcohol or other drugs. For this reason, TxDOT's Project Celebration mini-grant reimbursement program is available to schools who will conduct an alcohol chemical-free event for graduating seniors or for those attending prom. You may have a Project Celebration any time of the year that students celebrate, such as football homecoming weekend or before spring break. The materials in this guidebook are directed to a graduation night event. However, feel free to adapt these materials to suit your school's needs. So how do you get started? Download the Project Celebration Guidebook at texdot.gov. That's your first step. We have designed a guidebook to assist you plan a memorable Project Celebration graduation event. In this book, you will find tools, tips, and sample materials that you can adapt to fit the needs of your event. Bring your team together by hosting your first meeting. Let it comprise of students, parents, teachers, and administrators. Keep your meeting relaxed and informal. As soon as school begins in the fall, start having those meetings so planning is not rushed. Reference the planning calendar also found in the Project Celebration Guidebook to help guarantee a successful event. TxDOT is divided into 25 districts. The Project Celebration Guidebook, in the Project Celebration Guidebook, you can locate your traffic safety specialist for your area. Your traffic safety specialist is a great resource for planning your event. Some TxDOT districts hold annual workshops at the beginning of the school year for the Project Celebration coordinators. The workshop is a good way to learn what has worked and what has not worked for schools in your area. Attendees can learn about conducting year-round alcohol awareness educational activities, fundraisers, hosting lock-in events, and reporting. Year-round events are optional and are not required to be eligible for a TxDOT mini grant. Some TxDOT districts also hold competitions where schools can compete for additional funding. These competitions can be a public service announcement, a traffic safety display, or it could be creating a meme. I'm going to share with you first from the Atlantic District a PSA. Awesome video. The next I want to share is some memes that were done from the Corpus Christi district. All aboard? They had plans for the future. Your plans will now include wearing orange. When a drunk teen driver asks if you want a ride, say, ain't nobody got time for that. Great job. The next photo is a picture of a traffic safety display from the Lufkin district. This is a prom night where the homecoming queen and the homecoming king were drinking alcohol and were distracted and rolled their vehicle into a ditch that had water in it. So those are just some great ideas that we have for you when you are putting together your event. Stop sharing, there we go. So remember, the goal is to reduce the number of injuries and deaths caused by impaired driving. Did you know there has not been a deathless day in the state of Texas since November 7th, 2000? What that means is Texas has reached 20 years of daily deaths on our Texas roadways. TxDOT's In the Street campaign is about everyone doing their part in keeping our roadways safe. Don't drink and drive, and don't include yourself in our statistics. Celebrate this monumental moment in your life responsibly. The life you save could be yours. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Ruby Martinez from the Texas Department of Transportation with the Teen Click It or Ticket campaign. Ms. Ruby Martinez is a program manager for TxDOT under the Traffic Safety Division Austin headquarters as a driver education and behavior. She began her career with TxDOT in 1998 and served as a traffic safety specialist for 20 years, where she was awarded numerous awards for her leadership in traffic safety. In her current role, she oversees the management of the occupant protection traffic safety media campaigns, including Teen Click It or Ticket, and the Child Passenger Safety Program.
Hello, my name is Ruby Martinez, and I am the Program Manager for the Texas Department of Transportation Driver Education Behavior statewide programs and the Traffic Safety Media Campaign. One of the most important programs I oversee for the department each year is our Teen Click It or Ticket campaign. Vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death among teenagers. In Texas, 266 teen drivers and passengers ages 15 to 20 were killed in traffic crashes in 2019, and 1,718 were seriously injured. Of those killed, 109 were not wearing their seatbelts at the time of the crash. Buckling up is the best protection in a crash. In fact, wearing a seatbelt reduces the risk of dying in a crash by 45% in a car and up to 60% in a pickup truck, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. TxDOT conducts an annual public awareness campaign, Teen Click It or Ticket, aimed at increasing teen seatbelt use by reaching out to Texas teens through TV, radio, digital advertising, and social media. In order to more effectively spread the safe driving message to teens across the state, we have partnered with GDC Marketing and Ideation. This is GDC's third year working with the TxDOT Teen Click It or Ticket campaign. GDC is a full-service agency based in San Antonio, Texas, that has extensive experience working on government safety marketing campaigns, including the TxDOT statewide impaired driving campaign, Be Safe, Drive Smart, and Youth Occupant Protection campaign. In the past, our marketing efforts involved a tour of Texas high schools and events on campus at each of those high schools to reach our teen audience with our important safety message. We would bring our experience to the campus and allow the teens to interact with our augmented reality experience and try on the virtual reality game and experience our campaign firsthand. Each of those experiences would allow the teens to view an important safety message, and they would reinforce the behavior of buckling up their seatbelt. We would also bring our crash truck trailer to each of the high schools with us. The trailer held an F-250 Ford pickup that experienced a blowout, and two teen boys were able to walk away from the crash with minor injuries because they were both wearing their seatbelts. The crash truck trailer experience also includes a listening station where the teens can hear interviews directly from the two teenage boys regarding the crash and the importance of always wearing your seatbelt. The campaign also included our live press conference to kick off the campaign in one city where we would share our safety message directly with teens and the community. Our Teen Click It or Ticket campaign has held press conferences in Lubbock in May of 2019 and Houston in February of 2020. Each press event was also an experiential event where we would share our VR and AR experience with teens and where we would bring our crash truck trailer for them to interact with as well. This year, due to COVID, we had to alter our campaign approach to create a virtual experience that would reach our teenage audience at their homes, since many high schools were closed and students were learning remotely from home for this current school year. To engage Texas teens in our virtual campaign, we turned to social media. Surveys show that 90% of teens ages 13 to 17 have used social media. 75% report having at least one active social media profile, and 51% report visiting a social media site at least daily. We knew reaching them online would be ideal. For our research, we knew two of the biggest platforms that teens are active on include Snapchat and Instagram. We also knew our Teen Click It or Ticket campaign occurred in February, the same month as Valentine's Day. So we wanted to weave in some Valentine's Day themed creative in our Snapchat filters as well. First, we developed Teen Click It or Ticket branded Snapchat filters and placed them online for the entire month of February. We were specifically targeting teens between the ages of 15 to 20 with our Snapchat filters. Overall, our reach with the Snapchat filters was 976,000 teens with our Snapchat and demo reach. We learned the heart with the seatbelt over it had the most engagement with 2.29%. The engagement rate is the number of times it was sent divided by impressions. It was followed closely by the seatbelt made of hearts at 2.23%, and then the 4 hearts with an engagement rate of 1.75%. The evergreen filter had the lowest engagement rate of the 5 filters with 1.66%. Teens were willing to share the word to their friends, with Texas teens sending one of the Teen Click It or Ticket Snapchat filters 50,226 times for an engagement rate of 1.79%. This engagement rate is 79% above what would be considered good on Facebook. Another tactic we used for this campaign was mobile gaming. We know mobile gaming is very popular among our teen audience, so we wanted to reach them there. Some of the most popular games for our teen demo include Bubble Shooter, Candy Bomb Smash, and Sweet Fruit Candy. We were able to place ads in the mobile games, and we were able to reach over 1.1 million teens with this tactic. We also partnered with the teens in the driver's seat to work with their teen advisory board to get social media input and feedback from teens in the organization. GDC conducted a 30-minute focus group with teens across from the U.S. to share our campaign materials and to give valuable feedback and insight that can be used in future years for campaign material development. This year, in place of our in-person press conference at a local high school, we held a Facebook Live event to kickstart the campaign. On March 3rd, 2021, we aired our Facebook video on the Texas Department of Transportation Facebook page featuring Daniel Boyd, TxDOT Dallas Public Information Officer, Sergeant Dion Cockrell, Texas Department of Public Safety, and Lisa Manhattis Kyle, a representative for Teens in the Driver's Seat. Teens in the Driver's Seat is a program which educates teens about the importance of traffic safety. The Facebook event video was pre-recorded. The same day as the Facebook event, a video news package was distributed to Texas media outlets. The video news package included interviews from TxDOT, the Texas Department of Public Safety, a Teens in the Driver's Seat representative, and 2 teenagers who are members of the Teens in the Driver's Seat Teen Advisory Board. Our goal with the news outreach efforts was to help teens engage with our message. We hope to be able to visit schools again with our Teen Click It or Ticket experience in the coming year. The Facebook Live video received 79 reactions, 13 comments, and 3.4 thousand views. Now let's watch our interviews from 2 teens, Esmeralda and Ricky, who both have an important safety message to share with teens.
I think one message that I'd like to share with teens regarding seatbelt safety is buckle up. I mean, in a split second, your entire life can change. And I've said this before, I think definitely this generation is a generation of change. And this generation could easily change entirely if we all choose to just buckle up and stay safe on the road. You never know what could happen. And if another irresponsible driver were to run into your car, that seatbelt could save your life. And knowing that a seatbelt is all it takes, just that simple second of getting in your car and buckling up could save your life, I don't see why you wouldn't want to.
I became involved because a couple of years ago, my uncle was in a major car crash and it resulted in his car flipping. And we were told, had he not worn his seatbelt, he probably wouldn't have survived. And I believe that teens should really learn about traffic safety because it could save their lives. So, something that I want to share with teens is the importance of seatbelt safety. It takes 5 seconds to just click your seatbelt and it could save your life.
To support our virtual campaign, we were also able to distribute printed posters and information cards across the state. We developed two-sided English and Spanish posters and two-sided smaller information cards with our important teen seatbelt messaging. We developed, produced, kitted, and mailed more than 2,000 posters and more than 6,400 two-sided information cards to TxDOT traffic safety specialists and to our campaign partners, Teens in the Driver's Seat and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Passenger Safety. Our safety partners were able to distribute these safety materials to their communities to bring awareness to teen seatbelt safety and to encourage teens to buckle up every time they ride in a vehicle. Thank you for your time and attention to this presentation. If possible, we would like to get some feedback about this presentation from you in the form of a brief survey. We have included a link to the brief survey here in the chat box. We would greatly appreciate your feedback to this brief survey. If you would like more information about this or other Texas Department of Transportation programs, please feel free to contact me via the email address below. If you would like more information on GDC marketing and ideation, please feel free to contact them as well using the information below. Thank you again for your time and attention today regarding the TxDOT Teen Click It or Ticket campaign.
This is Nikki Fletcher with the TDS Teen Advisory Board. A quick thank you to our presenters and to you for attending this session. Congratulations to the prize winner. You will receive your gift card in the email used to register for the summit. A recording of the session will be available tomorrow. And don't forget to take the survey. Have a great rest of your day.